You're now listening to All Hogs Sports, covering all Arkansas Razorback sports, such as football, basketball, baseball, and much more. Now, here's your host for today's show, Sam Stimpson.
Arkansas took home a nice win at Bud Walton Arena against North Texas on Saturday night, 69-52. The Razorbacks came out on top, but if you like what you're hearing, please leave a 5-star review and follow the podcast on whatever you're listening to. It'd mean a lot to me and help the show grow a ton. Now, starting off with the key takeaways for this game, big-time defense showed up for the Razorbacks. This is a point that Coach Eric Musselman stresses to these players about defense and the three-point ball. Now, the three-point ball was a different story. However, defense showed up big time. We held them to a 15.4% from the three and 36.2% from the field. Really good defense there for when they go up to shots. They had to take them contested, and then those shots did not end up falling. Forced 16 turnovers. If you look at the offensive rebounds for North Texas and the defensive rebounds for Arkansas, we out-rebounded them there 28-10. So every single time we had an open rebound, we crashed the boards, got that one. And the guy who made it easy was Connor Vanover. I talked about him being the leading scorer against MVSU, but this time he was a great defender. 16 defensive rebounds, 16 total rebounds, 14 of those being on the defensive side. Big-time playmaker, and had 6 out of the 8 teams' total blocks. And he played 34 minutes in the game. And it was a concern that he wasn't going to be able to play a high amount of minutes, but he just proved everybody wrong. I thought he should have been starting from day one personally. A lot of people kind of had him off the radar because he lost all that weight during the offseason and all that. But Muss said it's hard to take a guy out when he's playing that well. And that's 100% true, as Vanover played 34 minutes and had a fantastic game. The team had 9 steals and only let up 54 points. Really good stuff there. But a point that wasn't too hot was we didn't do too good on free throws. We were 65.4%, and that number should be in like the 70s or 80s. We left 9 points on the board at the end of the day, and we won by 15, so it really didn't matter. But I feel like when you look at games where you lose, you look at the free throw percentage and you see the amount of points we left on there, so I always try to bring that aspect onto the show going forward. But Moody was perfect from the line. His shots haven't been falling all year, and I expect that to improve later as he gets more experience in NCAA basketball, but he's been really good from the free throw line, and he was like that way in high school too, and he's a really good shooter, and I can't wait to start seeing when his shots are going to start falling and all that. But the shots weren't falling for the whole team, really. They were some in contested spots, like Moody shot a couple where there could have been an assist or something, but at the end of the day, you win by 15. It doesn't matter. He was 2 for 9, 1 for 4 from 3, and then had 11 total points. Team shot 41% as a whole, which was down 56 from MVSU, but obviously, MVSU is a lot easier opponent than North Texas. Justin Smith was 2 for 3 from deep, 7 out of 13 from the floor, and had 18 points total in this matchup. The team turned over the ball 16 times in comparison to 6 against MVSU. Not really too worried about it as it's super early into the season, but if this is a trend where we start giving up the ball a ton and turning it over, I guess you can see some type of concern there, but the main reason all these turnovers happened was because it was really sloppy early. Early in the game, both of these teams played really neck on neck right next to each other, but then as the game went on, Arkansas kind of pulled away, played better ball. And something about North Texas that threw off this team was North Texas likes to use all of the time on the time of possession. And that's not something you'll see in SEC basketball, frankly, because it doesn't work. Obviously, North Texas did it, and it threw us off. And I guess it might have worked technically for them. But if you look at, did it actually work to win? No. I mean, sure, they might have performed better than they thought. Hogs won by 15, and the spread was 7.5. Great win, in my opinion. North Texas, though, is a really good team. They won the Conference USA last year. They're likely going to go to the NCAA tournament, in my opinion, depending on if they can get an at-large or if they are going to be able to get the Conference USA championship over Western Kentucky. And it should be a nice win at the end of the year. You had a great 15-point win at home against a pretty good team, and we were only favored by 8, winning by 15. That's a big thing. A lot of people are saying is, oh, we didn't win by enough. We were favored by 8, and we won by 15. So I like this here. But something that I've been seeing talking about a lot that I just want to talk about at the end of the recap of the show is really not much happened in this game. There's not a ton to talk about because the Razorbacks played well. Must use an 8-man rotation for this game. Against MVSU, we saw 10 or 11 people being played on the court, and a lot of people like that because we saw all of the grad transfers, freshmen, getting the playing time, but that really didn't happen this time. An 8-minute rotation. In the starting 5, Vanover replaced Vance Jackson. Vance Jackson came off the bench, and he had a single minutes off of there. But him, KK Robinson, and JD Notie all came off of the bench in this game to add to that 8-man rotation. But this is something that Coach Eric Musselman is known for, and Muss I trust. Anything that he does, I'm going to say it's the best for the team. He's done tremendous things in his only year 2 here at the University of Arkansas. I'm not really too concerned about the lack of playing time for the freshmen because if you look at teams like Kentucky where they have a really young team and they have a lot of talent, all the freshmen are out there, and then they get beat by a team like Richmond today. So for the Razorbacks to play their best guys on the court and ensure wins to get us into the NCAA tournament is the best option, and I really like what I saw from Muss in this game, even though we only used an 8-man rotation. I feel like he's a really good coach, and those freshmen will be seeing playing time in the future, and he knows the attributes for those guys. I'm not going to question Coach at all. I guess that could be a hot take now, but whatever Muss does, I'm going to say that was right, and he's leading us to successes as we had a really good team win. Obviously, though, you're going to experiment with the roster. We went 10 or 11 versus MVSU. We go to 8 against North Texas. So we'll see UT Arlington next up on the schedule. I'd expect a whole different thing there. You want to figure out what works best for this team before you go into SEC conference play because, frankly, you don't want to have a situation where you're still trying to find the team's identity when you're playing some of the best basketball teams in the nation every single Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday, whenever it be. You want to have those lineups dialed up, know what to do, and have the team playing the best ball they can by then. So I obviously think those going early, but Notie is a cold shooter, coming off the bench 6 out of 14, and he had a shot blocked, picked it up, and shot deep from 3. It was really impressive. I just thought I'd throw that out there, and make sure you look that up if you haven't seen it yet, because it was cool.
Now, for the grades of the Arkansas Razorbacks.
I'm going to give the offense in this game a B. I feel like part of the reason why it wasn't so good is because we weren't able to get a ton of breakaways because North Texas plays this 30-second time of possession where they eat all this time off the clock. I'm not a big fan of it personally. I didn't understand it for them because it didn't work out for them. As you saw, the final score 69-54, Razorbacks win. Obviously, we put up 69 points. Sure, is that enough to win you some games? Yes. But as long as the defense plays good, it's alright. I'm going to give them a B, though. I feel like from 3, we could have had a couple more shots where we could have passed it around and got something better. But I feel like North Texas is a better team than people give them credit for. They won the Conference USA last year. They had a lot of returning guys, 4 out of 8 on the team. So for the Razorbacks to play decently well on offense and get the win here is important. That's all that matters. B there, though. Defense, I'm going to give an A. There's nothing really else I could ask. We held them from 16% from 3. Held them to 36 from the floor. Really impressive stuff there, and we played clean ball for the most part. I feel like a lot of the fouls we got were not that good. Obviously, the refs aren't the best this early because they're not like SEC quality. Yeah, I know SEC refs are bad, but these guys aren't the same, if that makes sense. But anyway, obviously a lot of good defensive performances on this from Connor Vanover. Really impressive stuff from him, and having him being a lead defensive guy on the court is important for the Razorbacks, and if we continue to do this, I feel like I'll be putting a lot of A's up on this. Overall, I'm going to give them the A-. We got a pretty good quality win over the defending Conference USA champions. A lot of Razorback fans are going to discredit this North Texas team because they're North Texas. Good win here. Anytime you get a win, it's impressive. But this week, since there's no football game, I'm going to divide the recap of this and the preview of UT Arlington in different parts. So, obviously, today's Monday. It's going to be the recap of this game. Tomorrow on Tuesday will be a preview of UT Arlington. Wednesday will be a preview of Mizzou for football. And then Friday will be the recap of the UT Arlington game and a preview at the Lipscomb game. So lots of stuff here on All Hogs Sports Pod. If you aren't following our social medias and listening wherever you want to, why? Go to allhogsports.com. You can find it all there. Whatever you're doing, just follow, subscribe, keep up, because we got a ton of football and basketball action coming your way. So many other sports around the SEC to cover as well as we start to move into those. But stay tuned. Make sure you listen to all the podcasts this week. And as always, woo pig suey.
That's all for today's episode of All Hogs Sports with Sam Stimpson. Make sure to stay tuned for the next episode covering all Arkansas Razorback sports. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe and leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Follow us on social media too. On Twitter and Instagram at All Hogs Sports Pod. Like on Facebook at All Hogs Sports and Arkansas Razorbacks Podcast. And on YouTube at that same name. Thanks for tuning in to today's episode. Go Hogs!